Hello everyone, and in today's video we're going to look into beginner, intermediate and advanced pedaling. So the pedals may be not something you've given a huge amount of consideration to. You may believe that as long as the pedal doesn't blur, then somehow you're doing it right. But actually we're going to talk through 3 different ways to consider pedaling from beginner to intermediate to advanced. So the piece we're going to work through today, or the section of the piece, is from Debussy's The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. And so what I'm doing now is bringing the score up on IMSLP. If you haven't come across IMSLP, it's a free domain that allows you to access loads and loads of sheet music that's past its copyright. I will link it in the description below. So that's the opening. The next part I think is the interesting part. And so there are a few ways that you can pedal this. Quite often with beginners, I mentioned blur at the start of this video. Quite often, you will see. Okay, maybe I exaggerate a little bit, but I think it's good to sort of see the extremes. That was the pedal left on entirely throughout this phrase. So with most beginners, they'll discern that this is a little bit blurry. And I use the term beginners loosely because this, the student in question, he's around about grade 5 level and he was working on this piece. So yeah, most people will discern that that's just too blurry, and so you might get a few changes. You can already hear then that is much cleaner. Though there are some ways that you can make this phrase even more beautiful and nuanced. So we know with the piano that whenever you play a note, no matter how loud or how soft you play the note, the sound always decays. It always gets softer and it's now more or less gone. So that's part of the inherent nature of the piano, unlike other instruments that can do a term that we call mezzo di voce. Mezzo di voce means you start off on a note, you get louder, and then you get softer, like la. The piano can't do that. Well, I mean, that's kind of as close as we get to it. So how can we create a sense of crescendo and diminuendo? Well, actually, this is where the pedal comes in. If I want to let this phrase accumulate a little bit, I just get a little bit louder towards the end. After all, the melody does seem to expand and get that little bit louder. Debussy's written a crescendo towards the end of that lovely E flat major chord. And so what I can do to just create that crescendo through the phrase is just gradually pedal a little bit later all the time. So if we compare it with the first way, the beginner way, let's call it. It's quite blocky, quite chunky. But if I pedal gradually later and lift the pedal later throughout the phrase, listen to how the sound accumulates. And that's much more expansive. So let's call that the intermediate way. The advanced way then is a little more nuanced. So at the start of this video I talked a little bit about different types of pedal, like flutter pedal and half pedal and quarter pedal. So that's something else that you can use. I remember in a masterclass at the Royal Northern College of Music years ago that I had with Stephen Huff, and we were doing a wonderful Debussy etude, and I was struggling a little bit with some of the sounds and some of the colours, and it was just fascinating to watch the way he described colours on the piano using the pedal. So you played a note and just gradually press. Oh, starting to catch the pedal down more gently. And you can hear now, that's starting to get much richer, much fuller. If you're lucky enough to have a grand piano, or to have access to a grand piano, oh, listen to that. You'll really feel that weight. That's so different. And now what we can do is we can consider using more or less pedal to create more or less sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit less pedal, maybe let's say quarter pedal or something at the start of this phrase, and just gradually use more to the end. So I don't know if you caught that then, a little bit thinner at the start, using less pedal, half pedal. Then I think I brought it down to quarter, and as I was using it, gradually made it richer and deeper, and gradually made that pedal just occur a little bit later on. So there you have it, 3 different types of pedaling: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. If you want to experiment with this yourself, I'd really recommend it. It just makes such a big difference to your playing. So start off with those different ways. Start off way too blurry, change every harmony. Then just experiment with how late you can change the pedal. And then how shallow you can make the pedal, and gradually making it deeper. If you have a keyboard, it depends on the keyboard. You may want to try. You may be able to try this out. Those button pedals. I'm sorry. You want to, I think, invest in a deeper pedal, something that's going to give it a little bit more nuance. If you have an upright piano, I'm just looking at my upright piano here in the corner. Again, you can get something of this, but if you get an opportunity on a grand piano, just test that out. The grand piano makes the hugest difference whenever it comes to the pedal. And if you can imagine yourself playing, you know, a beautiful £250,000 Steinway in a multi-million-pound concert hall, oh, just the colours you get and the effects you get are just so wonderful, and will open up your colours, your sounds, the resonance, the expression, way beyond the sort of microwaved sort of ready meal that we can sometimes end up with like practicing on a keyboard in a small room with headphones. It's just like, yes, there's flavour there, but you know. So yeah, look, something to experiment with. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please, please leave a comment. Are you working on a piece and struggling with pedal at the moment? Let me know if I can help you with that. Leave me a wee comment. Let me know what your problem is. I'll see if I can make a few suggestions. Yeah, and happy practicing.